welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman. We're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Lance, we're having an Apollo 12 episode where we have sound, but we have no camera. Delaney, where are you?
Hi, I am outside the Birch Bayh Federal Courthouse in downtown Indianapolis.
But for some reason, your camera doesn't. We worked earlier this morning. It's not working now. So.
Yeah, that's too bad. It's a beautiful building.
All right. Well, let's start at the beginning. This backstory. You're there for Carrie. How many defendants are there?
So, including Carrie, there are 5. The other 4 would be Kelly Eiley, Nicole Smith, Chad Griffin, and then Matt Smith.
And Matt is Carrie's ex-husband, a co-founder, and again, they're all being tried together, correct?
That would be correct. Just not all with the same charges.
All right. Well, give the logistics. So we got your media pass, and are you in the actual courtroom, or people have masks? What's going on there?
So there are still masks. I'm currently in a media room. I'm thinking maybe tomorrow I'll be able to be in the actual courtroom because it was just full with all of the people on jury duty. They just selected their jury.
Okay.
So we'll see tomorrow.
And what, you have a big screen there? How's it work?
Yes. So it is a very similar meeting or webinar style like this is. And so they just have it connected to a big TV, and I'm able to see the judge. I can't really see the rest of the courtroom for the most part, and I can hear everything.
Are you allowed to see the jurors?
You can see them a little bit through this meeting, but not well.
Okay.
I don't think I can't necessarily see them. I'm just not able to.
Well, give us a sense. What type of questions were they asking potential jurors, both attorneys?
So, of course, there's some common questions. You know, have you ever been involved in any sort of court proceeding and things like that. But some of the more interesting questions were, you know, do you work with an SOP? Which,
really?
interesting. Yeah. And interesting enough, Chad Griffin's lawyer ended up kind of focusing on that later when they were trying to dwindle down their jury selection.
Yeah, not the SBA, but a regular SOP. Interesting.
Yes. Asking about.
Go ahead, Lance.
I think they're talking about LSP.
No.
So he said SOP.
I don't believe so. Yes. Yeah.
Lance, were you in the courtroom?
No, I'm not there. I'm just speculating.
You're not contradicting our on-air talent, especially when she's your daughter.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice try, Lance. So it's interesting. So they want to know if they have something to follow the rules with. Okay, that's interesting.
Yes, he's asking questions like, you know, if some of the rules are unclear or they're conflicting, would you decide, you know, would you decide what you would do? Would you wait for a superior? Some questions like that I thought were really interesting.
Well, what we found fascinating, Lance, and I'll let you chime in as well. We should do our research, but this is the only SBA fraud case I know. In the past, they've had principals, but this is the only one where they arrested the staff. And that is pretty groundbreaking, where you have all these other people. And I just, that boggles my mind. I understand what they're trying to set up is, hey, do you follow the SOP? Do you follow what your superior says, Lance?
Well, Bob, and now that I've kind of heard all the comments and didn't jump in before I heard the comments, it's kind of interesting that he's running, and sorry, Delaney, interesting that he's running down the path of the SOP 5010 and asking the question, what would you do if it's unclear? Because there are a substantial number of parts of the SOP 5010 that might be unclear.
Well, I think also, Lance, what she's saying is they're talking about any SOP, right?
Yes. Yes.
So any SOP that you work with, that's interesting.
But I mean,
what
he's
about-
obviously making some implications, so I do believe you're correct.
Yeah, I think
I've always-
I think he's trying to walk down the path, Bob. If you found the SOP to be confusing, what would
which
you do?
they,
Yeah. Who are
yeah.
you? Yeah.
And they all have gray areas. They're all in interpretation. You have something called the Bible where different people people interpret it differently. So obviously SOPs, people are going to interpret them differently. So what is that? What was Carrie's attorney describe him or her, and what was his or her demeanor?
He is very confident. You can tell. I definitely think he's probably the best lawyer up there. If I could speculate a little bit, I haven't.
You're not
Yes.
speculating. You're offering your opinion, and you were allowed to do that.
Yes. I haven't been able to hear too much yet, but from some of the short questions I've heard, you can definitely tell he's knowledgeable and he has a plan.
Good. And tell us about the judge.
Oh, she's wonderful. She's very welcoming and respectful, but you can tell she's definitely serious. She's not going to take any attitude or any bad
Yeah.
behavior.
Delaney, do we know why, and it may come out later, do you know why all five are tried together and not separately? I'm sure that'll come out later. In your background, do we know why they did that? Go ahead.
I'm actually not 100% sure. Now, I know, of course, all five of the defendants are being charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud affecting a financial institution. But otherwise, Terry, Kelly Eiley, and Nicole Smith, they're also being charged for 2 shared charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud. But otherwise, again, I'm not sure. I think it's
Lance,
probably easier.
Yeah, I was just curious. Lance, committing wire fraud, what specifically is the government alleging in terms of committing wire fraud?
Well, I think it's related to transferring money from institution to institution that has an element of fraud or basically breaking the rules.
Well, I'll interject. There's 2 things that have. One is when they got paid on the guarantee, when they represented the bank and they got paid on the guarantee. Alleging that when the money was wired from SBA to the bank, they were involved with that. The other part of the conspiracy is when they submitted the applications for approval. What's wrong, Delaney? You with us, or she's not? She's muted. The second.
Okay, I'm not sure what muted me. I'm back.
The second part of the fraud is, for example, the famous email where it's alleged where Carrie said they got us when they attempted to put working capital as a use of proceeds for delinquent payroll taxes, Lance.
Yeah, essentially, Bob, anytime there's ill-gotten money and it's transferred, that's going to result in wire fraud.
Yeah. What else is going on, Delaney? Atmosphere. Have you picked up anything on atmosphere yet? Well, first of all, let's go back to you. You're in the separate room. Do you have any special credentials or special things that, because you're media, that you get to do that other people can't?
Well, of course, a big thing is I get to access my phone, which is not allowed in this building. For regular people coming in, you have to put your phone and any other electronics in a locked pouch that security keeps. So that is one great ability that I have. Otherwise, I'm with one other woman who is with the federal court system, and it's quite private.
Okay. Yeah. A word of advice. Don't, when you get in the main courtroom, turn your phone off. Don't let it ring.
Yes.
I don't think between Lance and I, we don't have enough money to come up with bail to bail you out.
I will try not to.
We have to have a GoFundMe page. So what's going to happen this afternoon? First of all, you're on Eastern time, so it's a little after 1. What's the schedule for this afternoon?
So I think we'll start to hear some of their opening arguments. They're currently at a lunch now that they've decided who the jury's going to be. So we'll see how that goes. I can't imagine this will go on for much longer. I'd say about 5:30 this time.
And who's telling you 10 days? Where is that coming from?
That was coming from the judge herself.
Judge.
She was saying 10 days and hopefully less.
Okay. So they're planning, so it should be a short trial because they're.
Yeah. I definitely expected it to be longer than that.
Yeah.
I was quite impressed.
Well, that's why they dropped a lot of the charges and they're just focusing on the ones the government believes they can win with. Do all 5 defendants, do they have the same attorney? Do they have, you mentioned Chad has a separate attorney. Do all 5 have their own counsel?
Yes, all 5 do. And in some of the cases, they even have 2 lawyers or a paralegal. So yes, there's quite a few different people working for this group of defendants.
Wow. Okay. Lance, what do you think of this overall?
Well, it's interesting because in my SBA career, this is really the first, like you said, Bob, time that they levied charges against, I don't know their exact positions, but, one is like an underwriter closed type position.
Yeah.
I've not seen charges levied against that type of individual. So that's the most interesting thing about it to me. Now, I'm going to be very interested as the days go by to see what happens in this case. And it sounds like, from what Delaney's telling us, the Carey's attorney has a definite path he's going to walk down.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, they're, no, it's going to be fascinating on that. So Delaney, we'll get you on camera. We'll figure out our problems. We had you on earlier this morning. Opening statements today, and what about tomorrow morning? Any idea? I assume the prosecutor goes first, correct?
I'm not 100% sure. I will find out by the end of today, though.
Okay. Well, very good. Anything else, Delaney?
One other little fun fact.
Please.
Someone who was called to jury duty was actually an ex-BankServe employee. So she knew all of the defendants. She knew many of the witnesses. So she definitely got questioned.
Really?
And it's safe to say she is not part of the jury.
Oh, I mean, this is not a funny situation, but you're right. It's a fun fact. That is wild. So who bounced her? I assume the judge did.
Yeah. Between her and then the government, USA versus the rest.
Yeah, that would be wild. Okay, very good. Well, Delaney, thank you. Live from Indianapolis. We appreciate that. Very good. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to do some videos. We'll do some videos tomorrow. Maybe we can do a recap and send that out, and we'll figure out our camera issues for tomorrow. Lance, you're doing a big webinar on Wednesday regarding this exact topic. Tell me about it, and what are you going to?
Well, we're going to provide
how not to be on this list, right?
We're going to provide training on how to properly document the SBA Form 1050 and your disbursements. And this trial has a lot to do with that. The famous "they got us" quote comes from not properly allocating funds according to SOP 5010. So properly dispersing, properly documenting those disbursements on the 1050 is critical to keeping the guarantee safe. But in this case, Bob, it would be critical to keeping out of the courthouse as well. So it's a great webinar, and I encourage you to jump on board and sign up.
Well, you're doing Lance, you continue to get rave reviews from the industry, and good for you. Good for you. Anything new on PPP? We need to worry about any other news?
Well, I saw an email from some of the trade groups talking about the direct forgiveness portal. We're still actually waiting to see how that's going to work. I mean, if you get in your forgiveness platform, you can see the guarantee purchase tab and the guarantee purchase summary right now, but nothing's being able to. I told you, Bob, I was going to try to jump in and be the first one to submit one, and it wouldn't let me. So, you know, my great plans didn't work. But we're to see an IFR related to guarantee purchase and additional instructions on how to utilize that. Again, as a participant lender and a PPP lender, you need to get in if you want to use that direct forgiveness platform and opt in under the institution settings if you want to participate in that. So that's still the big news, Bob. It's going to take a lot of work off
And
of
when does it go live again for the industry, Lance?
They've said August 15th on a number of occasions. As you know, dates sometimes with SBA move around a little bit, but right now I'm still hearing August the 15th.
Great. Delaney, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. Well, go listen to the arguments. We love your report. That's the first time that we've done something like this. So excellent job. Little did you know when we signed you up as an intern, you'd get a one-way ticket to Indianapolis. But hey,
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Can't complain.
All right. We'll go take great notes, and we'll solve our issues with Michael and Joseph, and we'll get you on camera tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us today for Coleman for Live and for supporting America's Main Street. One entrepreneur.
Have a great day.